Hi guys, let's graph some sine functions, trig functions. This one happens to be sine, so we'll start with sine. Okay, so the best thing to do is always, always, always to list what you have first. Remember, the number in front of our actual sine or cosine is our a, so our a is 2 this time. The number that's attached to our theta or our x, in some cases, remember theta is the angle, x is the angle. This one happens to be a 1/2. I'm putting that 1 there so you can see it, but our b is going to be a 1/2. Okay. The number that's inside our parentheses, but then still not actually attached to our theta, but we are adding or subtracting it, that is always the d, right? So it's going to be 5 pi over 4. And then the number outside, let me get the green I like. The number outside of our parentheses is our c, and that is our horizontal shift, right? Okay, so let's go back now that we've listed everything. We've got A, B, D, and C. Yes, I understand that it's not alphabetically listed. Life goes on. Our A stands for amplitude. So our amp is going to be 2. Remember, the amplitude is how far above and below your axis, your horizontal axis, your points actually are. Okay, our B, right, helps us find the period or how long it takes for one cycle to actually complete, how long it takes for one cycle of our sine curve or cosine curve. So to find our period, we always go 2 pi. It is always, always, always 2 pi divided by the actual b value, and that's 1/2. So this is 2 pi divided by 1/2. Dividing by 1/2 is the same thing as multiplying by 2. Remember, dividing by a fraction, same thing as multiplying by its reciprocal. So the period is 4p. So from start to finish, sorry, 4 pi. The period is 4 pi. From start to finish, we have to get that done in 4 pi. All right, so now this is not the one that you're going to like, but the phase shift or the horizontal shift. Remember, your phase shift is always going to be the d value divided by the b value. Okay, so I'm going to take 5 pi divided by 4, 5 pi over 4 divided by 1/2. And that is 5 pi over 4 times 2 over 1. Okay, so then 2 over 4, that reduces to 5 pi over 2. So we are going to shift. Remember, even though it's minus in our equation, we do the opposite. We are going to shift right 5 pi over 2, which means we're going to start 5 pi over 2 to the right. We're not actually starting at the origin here. We're going to start elsewhere. Okay. Then last but not least, which is the kind of easiest one to deal with, is our horizontal shift. Okay. Horizontal shift is just going to be up 2. That one you take the same sign. Now, the easiest thing to do, okay, is to actually put your new axes on your graph before you even start doing anything. And that means you need to take a look at your horizontal shift and your phase shift. So horizontal shift is always the easiest one to do. So instead of us graphing right here using this as our horizontal axis, we are simply going to go up 2. Okay. And there is the new horizontal axis. I'm going to highlight that bad boy in yellow for you so you see it. So right there, that's the new horizontal axis. We went just up 2. Now we are going to shift. Okay. Shift. Yes, shift 5 pi over 2 to the right. Sorry, I was looking at it. When we do that, we are going to basically 5 pi over 2 is 2.5 pi, right? Okay, so each of these is, like, you can see that, I'll do this right here. That's a pi, that's a 2 pi. So each of these in here would be a pi over 2, right? That will be a 3, ooh, gosh, pi over 2. That's terrible. I'm sorry. And this will be, I'm going to make it a little bit bigger so you can see it. That's my 5 pi over 2. And then if I were going to go over to 3 pi, it's 6 pi over 2, and that reduces. This would be 7 pi over 2, 8 pi over 2 for the 4 pi, 9 pi over 2, 10 pi over 2 for the 5 pi, and 11 pi over 2, if you can even see that. My pen's writing a little bit too thick, okay, too thickly. thickly, not quite sure. I don't teach English, so we're good. We're golden with that one. All right, so we are going to shift right 5 pi over 2. So instead of starting on this line, our y-axis, we are going to take that and basically make a new y-axis, and we're basically going to go to 5 pi over 2. That's where we would have to start. So there is our new set of axes, and basically right here where they intersect, that would be our new origin. Okay. Then we can kind of think about, all right, I need points at certain places. I need to figure out if I'm going up to, down to, like my amp. Then I can, once I've figured out my horizontal and my phase shift, and basically my new set of axes and my new origin, then I can actually start to graph. Now remember, to get your points, oops, I'm trying to make this all fit on one screen so I don't have to scroll for you guys because I know it kind of drives you nuts. So points, you basically take the period, which is 4 pi. Okay, you always take the period, 4 pi, and you will always divide it by 4. Okay, so whatever the period happens to be, if your period is, a pi over 2, if the period is a 7 pi over 8, whatever it happens to be, you are always, always, always going to divide it by 4. So that means we need a point every pi. So when I'm looking at that, it will be a point every single pi. Now, remember, sine starts on the line, sine on the line, right? So that means our first starting point is actually going to be on the origin. That's where we're starting. Okay. Then I need to go, basically, remember you're going to have an amplitude of 2, and you need to go 1 pi. Okay. So if I go from the 5 to the 7, okay, 7 minus 5 is 2, 2 over 2 is 1. So that's where my next point is going to be at the actual 7 pi over 2, and I need to go on, above, on, below, on. Remember, that's the sign. On, above, on, below, on. So, because it's positive, by the way, because it's positive. I don't think we've gotten to the negative ones just yet. So sine is on, above, so that means at 7 pi over 2, I am going to be up here. Notice how I am up 1, 2, right? That's my amplitude. So above 2, then back on, then below 2. So, and it's always, this is the new horizontal axis, the yellow highlighted line. So I'm down here, and then you're actually going to be off your graph, but that's fine. There we go. That's one cycle. And 6 pi, this would be a 13 pi over 2. Oops, 13 pi over 2. And if I look, 13 minus 5, 13 minus 5 is 8. 8 divided by 2, because my denominator is 2. 8 divided by 2 is 4. So I was done in 4 pi. Okay, and then you can go, that's just one cycle, and then we like to actually kind of flesh it out a little bit and make it so we have more than one cycle on there, so we can go backwards. So I go backwards, and then I'm back there. Okay, there you go. That one's done. Let's go graph a cosine, shall we? We shall.